Hey, HannahMouse1 here. For those who don't know me, I'm an aspiring game dev working to prove that professional quality games can be made using beginner-friendly software such as Scratch. My main project, A Farmer's Life, is a top-down 2D farming simulator game inspired by Stardew Valley. I'm finally moving on to the story portion of the game, so today I'll be creating a cutscene manager system, adding in an introductory cutscene for each NPC in the game, and explaining my process for allowing the player to give their character development without limiting their decisions too much. In my game, all cutscenes are controlled by the text manager sprite. I designed the text box to display the name of the speaking character and to type out their dialogue letter by letter. Once the text finishes typing, the word space appears in the bottom corner of the text box, indicating to the player that the spacebar will progress the scene. If the player changes which control does this from the controls menu, then the correct control will appear here. I've written cutscenes to play the first time the player visits a location with an NPC. For example, meeting Besser for the first time you enter the shop. These scenes are meant to introduce the personalities of each character, hint at the deeper storylines that unfold as you get to know them, and allow the player to begin shaping their own character through dialogue decisions. One of the core design elements that I've been thinking about is how player dialogue choices reflect their character's personality. This was heavily inspired by Yahtzee Crowshaw's Dev Diary series for Starstruck Vagabond. In it, he critiques how games like Stardew Valley treat character interaction, where relationships are built mostly through gift giving, regardless of how your in-game personality aligns with the NPCs. In Stardew, everyone can become your friend as long as you give them enough of their favourite items, even if your character would realistically be incompatible with theirs. Crowshaw's solution was to introduce a Dungeons & Dragons style alignment grid, where the dialogue options you see and how others respond depend on where you fall on that grid. I want to adopt a similar idea but with a different structure. Instead of an alignment grid, I'm building a system based on specific personality traits. These include things like introversion versus extroversion, self-oriented versus others-oriented, and so on. Each trait starts with a neutral value of 0. Each dialogue choice the player makes is tagged with one of these traits, and here's how it works. If the player already leans strongly towards a certain personality, the game will pre-select dialogue options that match that personality. If the player is still relatively neutral, they'll be given a choice between two contrasting responses. The choice they make will adjust the relevant trait's value, nudging them further towards that personality type. Over time, this system helps the game shape the player character in a way that reflects their choices. NPCs will respond differently based on the player's established personality. For example, a highly introverted character might get a quiet personal suggestion for a birthday celebration, while a more extroverted player might have friends planning a large party instead. The goal is to fix the lack of personal development often seen in similar games, and I want players to feel like their decisions have a real narrative impact, not just in how they interact with the world, but how the world responds to them in return. But apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe if you did, it lets me know that this is something you want to see more of. Join the Discord link down below, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!